Hello, ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It's that time once again. Oh no, I'm an hour early, aren't I? I'll be back. Fuck it. Might as well try to do a 2 hour. Oh my god. Might as well try to do a 2 hour. I am a fucking hour early. Holy crap. I'm going to try to do a 2 hour show, I guess. I can't believe I made this rookie mistake. Holy crap. I was just ready to go. So I'm an hour early. Holy crap. Well then, I'm going to have to welcome everyone who joins me here in an hour, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. I do have some things I could fill some time with. First off, I want to give everyone an update. My diet is going pretty well. I'm down to 263-ish pounds from 300. So, yeah, I'm burning it. As always, welcome. It's October 28th, 2023. And I do need to say happy birthday to someone special out there who's probably not going to watch this, but happy birthday to that special person out there. Hope you're having a good day. Anyway, so as always, say hello in the chat. Say hello in the chat for a toast and a shout out. Tonight's whiskey is going to be Larceny 1870 small batch. Going to go ahead and pour a little bit of it. A lot of my whiskey bottles are starting to get a little lower than this. So yeah, I decided to bust this back out for a while. Probably going to be drinking this the next couple streams. The Larceny small batch. So you may have noticed we got a new little banner up top here. I've been trying to play a little bit with StreamYard because I've been saying I'm going to. That's part of the reason I'm early. I've been messing with that, been messing with some other stuff, been doing some show research, and I guess I was just early. Anyway, so here I am, Mild's Culture Plate. Yeah, Saturday. So you may notice some new stuff in the background here too. This Batman Venom comic, out of print, been out of print for a long time. I've noticed it's like $50 to $70 on Amazon and eBay if you do the buy it now. I mean, granted, there are people who've bought it for, 10 to 15 bucks on the auctions. But if you go buy it now, click buy it now on eBay or on Amazon, you're looking at like 50 to 70 bucks. I found this at vintage stock for 10 bucks. Fuck yeah. Good stuff. And also, I'm still reading the Man of Steel hardcovers. I'm on the final volume 4 here now. It's been quite interesting. It's becoming a little more modernized. You may notice a couple new posters behind me here. First off, I got the this here holiday. I've actually had this for a while, but I just recently had it framed. So yeah, I got this Batman number 27, the holiday issue there. Poster cover, and then I got this giant. This is the other thing I went to vintage stock for. The giant Batman 251 poster. That's probably going to go in my whiskey den. I did want to have it here, handy. And then you may have seen this in the background the last episode. I found this at Target. This is like a McFarlane Collector's Edition 85-year Superman Action Comics #1 figure. McFarlane's really doing some weird different stuff now, going beyond just the silver and gold label comics. So, anywho. Wow. Yeah, I was restocking my liquor cabinet. I on a previous show, I told you all, we had someone that we had to, help out with an addiction issue. We had them in the house, so I wanted to make sure all my liquor was put away. I've now, spent a lot of time restocking my liquor cabinet, and yeah, doing some shopping, doing some fun things out, catching the last bit of decent weather here in central Kansas, and then over in Kansas City. Um, so yeah, I've been having a good time. Been doing a lot of great shit. But yeah, I haven't really been digging much into the news until today. So this whole Maine shooting situation, I haven't been getting every little tidbit and tweet about it necessarily, but I have seen a few things, and we'll cover some of that here on the show today. We'll also be covering Mike Pence's campaign. And also, one of the things we're going to be covering is the fact that I found the Holy Grail of content. And I'm a little hesitant to dig it out today, but I'm going to. I'm going to dig it out today because this is like, okay, this is so awesome. I want to keep it for myself, but I've shared it with a few people out there. And granted, it's not my content, it's someone else's content, but I think it would be awesome to talk about it. And, this is definitely one of those things where there are a lot of channels like mine that are looking for content like this all the time. And, for an example, a lot of my audience kind of come out of the Ricada Law audience because that's where I try to advertise my show, and I not a whole lot of other people tend to follow me over here to Rumble and YouTube. And anyway, but Ricada Law does his WTF Wednesday. He used to do a lot of content like that, and I found like the holy grail of that type of content. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. Just kind of previewing a lot of our topics today. We got a story about women deciding not to fight transgenders in a jiu-jitsu tournament. Let's see, what else do we have? We have Mike Pence deciding to drop out of the Republican primary. And I think that might be most of our topics for the day. So yeah. That's what we got going on. Trying to think if there was anything. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to share with you folks, and I don't remember what that is. Well, I guess we can jump right into the topic. So let's talk a little bit about this shooting in Maine. A guy with a high-powered rifle goes into an entertainment district and into the bowling center and opens fire. And a lot of the details have been sort of slow to come, right? But that doesn't stop far leftists from calling for gun control, for talking about right-wing extremism, for talking about whiteness. So this is from the Libs of TikTok Twitter account. Maine City Council member Victoria Pelletier goes on an unhinged racist tirade in response to the shooting, blames it on white violence and angry whiteness, says the shooter's only motive was that he's white and therefore had the privilege to commit violence. Then here we have the screenshot. Counselor Victoria, as the statements begin to roll out, make sure you peep which one of your representatives actually calls this what it is, an act of violent white nationalism and domestic terrorism. This isn't a senseless tragedy. This is a targeted, intentional act of white violence that we see regularly in this country. We are no stranger to angry white men with guns. This happens all the time and will continue to happen all the time. Most of our federal delegation has been in power since I was in elementary school, and if they wanted to enact gun laws, they would, but they likely never will because the institution of government benefits from this type of sanctioned violence. We see it with the Nazi marches and the push for Maine to become a white ethno-state. Push for Maine to become a white... Hang on, hold up, wait. Maine to become a white state. Let's see if anything even comes up here. Why is Maine so white? Maine becomes diverse, but is still the whitest in the nation. Yeah, I'm not seeing Maine to become a white ethno state anywhere on the internet here. So not sure what the hell she's talking about. So we see it with the Nazi marches and push for Maine to become a white ethno state. We see it with the policing and public safety. We see it with public safety. public safety. We see it with criminalization of homelessness and racist, xenophobic rhetoric toward our marginalized groups. We see this type of angry, violent whiteness every single day. I'm so exhausted by the need to identify a motive. He lost his job. He was getting a divorce. He's had issues with mental health, etc., etc. Exhausted by the need to identify a motive. You know, she's got half a point here. I mean, crazy is crazy. And this is the thing. I used to wonder why my daughter's mother, my abuser, my ex, would abuse me so much, would lie to me so much, would habitually mistreat me and lie to me. You know, I was literally nothing but the nicest person to her, and I was even slightly a doormat, right? And eventually it just occurred to me, like, she doesn't need a reason. Sometimes crazy is just crazy. Sometimes there's no motive. You know, it's not like there was anything I could have done to deserve the way I was abused and treated. It just, I was literally just dealing with a crazy person. So I can kind of understand where she's coming out with the, you know, we don't need a motive, but like then the next sentence here, let's go back to it. The motive is he's white, he has a gun, and he can enact terrorist and violence on innocent people because the world has awarded him the privilege to do so. Well then, okay. Look, folks. Her need to include the word white. And again, I'm not discounting that there isn't something to this, but quite frankly, there are a lot of people who just are crazy, antisocial, and when they feel the power of holding a firearm, it makes them feel even more empowered to enact their crazy upon the outside world, because often these people do feel wronged by an outside world that doesn't necessarily help them. And let me make it clear, I'm not making an excuse. What I'm saying is, oftentimes it's very lonely in this world. And when you're screaming for help and nobody listens, nobody helps, nobody is required to help, nobody's obligated to help you. But oftentimes that can feel like a betrayal, like the world has betrayed you, like society has betrayed you, like the people around you have betrayed you. And if you have mental health issues, and this is down here, he's had issues with mental health, et cetera, the need to identify a motive. Well, yeah, I mean, because here's the thing, you know, the mental health is the motive. As I was just talking about with my ex, crazy is just crazy. Crazy doesn't need a motive. Crazy is the motive. And the reason why that's important to recognize is because a sane individual can figure out, navigate society's resources to help a person, pull them up by their own bootstraps, so to speak. It's when they inflict themselves with drugs, alcohol, addiction, harm themselves, harm other people. When you get that far, that's when society really just doesn't want you around. But if you haven't done those things, generally, there are ways out of rock bottom. So again, whatever motive you want to give, to this person, this evil person who committed this act. And let's go to the AP. Let's go to Associated Press, because if we're going to be talking about this, let's get a little more, because like I said, I've not read a whole lot about this individual. I've not read a whole lot about this tragedy, but I do know it's there, and I do know people are utilizing it, just as this city council person utilized it for political points. So here's the AP. Police were alerted just last month about Maine shooter's threats. We couldn't locate him. Police across Maine were alerted just last month to veiled threats by the Army reservist who would go on to carry out the worst mass shooting in the state's history. One of a string of missed flags that preceded the massacre. 2 local law enforcement chiefs told the AP that a statewide awareness alert was sent in mid-September to be on the lookout for Robert Card after the firearms instructor made threats against his base and fellow soldiers. But after stepped-up patrols of the base and a visit to Card's home, neither of which turned up any sign of them, they moved on. We added extra patrols. We did that for about 2 weeks. The guy never showed up, said Jack Clements, the police chief in Saco, home to the U.S. Army Reserve Base where Card trained. Saginaw County Sheriff Joel Mary, whose jurisdiction includes Card's home in Bowdoin, said the Army Reserve tipped his department in September to the reservist's threats, and the sheriff sent the awareness alert to every law enforcement agency in the state after his deputy came back empty-handed from a welfare check on Card's home. We couldn't locate him, Mary said, adding that he couldn't recall if there were any follow-up because I don't have any reports in front of me. Military officials declined to comment further about Card, specifically whether the threats relayed to the sheriff in September were new or the same one Card had made during an Army Reserve training exercise near West Point, New York in July. That's when police say Card was committed to a mental health facility for 2 weeks after acting erratically and hearing voices and threats to shoot up a military base. Yet it was his whiteness, not his mental health state. Authorities say 40-year-old Card opened fire with a high-powered rifle on a bowling alley and then bar in Lewiston on Wednesday night, killing 18 people and wounding 13 more. After an intense 2-day manhunt that put the state on edge, Card was found dead Friday from a self-inflicted gunshot. Card's case stands as a glaring example of missed flags, with many unanswered questions about what the military, police, and mental health professionals and relatives could have done to prevent the massacre. While Maine does not have a red flag law, it does have a more limited yellow flag law that would still allow police to petition a judge to take a person's firearms away if a medical practitioner deems that person to be a threat. How is that different from red flag? That sounds like red flag to me. If you're completely taking someone's guns, that's red, not yellow. For his part, Saco Police Chief Clements defended his department's response to the alert about card, which he described as a generic thing that came out saying, hey, you know, we've had some report that this guy has made some veiled threats. Clements noted that his department gets many such alerts and that his officers gave this one its due attention, keeping an eye on the base for any sign of card. You know, a generic warning about threats, huh? Never came in contact with this guy, never received any phone calls from the Reserve Center saying, hey, we got somebody who was causing a problem, he said. We never got anything. So it sounds like, you know, there were generic warnings, nothing of concrete. No, this is the threat he made. No, he said he was hearing voices and this is what they said, right? Another law enforcement agency that came in contact with card was the New York State Police, which on July 16th was called in via West Point by commanders of the Army Reserve's 3rd Battalion, 304th Infantry Regiment, with concerns about Card's erratic behavior and threats to other members of his military unit. During a training exercise, according to state police document obtained by AP, state troopers took Card, Sergeant First Class, the Keller Army Community Hospital at West Point for what would be 2 weeks of mental health evaluation. What the New York State Police did about Card's threats is unclear. Well, you just said what they did. They took him to the nut ward at the Army Hospital. The agency declined to comment to the AP on the case and did not respond to a request for reports or possible body camera footage of their interactions with Card. This is an active investigation, and the New York State Police does not comment on active investigations nor investigations in which we are not the lead agency, it said in a statement Friday before Card was found dead. The state police spokesman refused to comment Saturday. Jonathan Crisp, an Army lawyer for 2 decades before starting a criminal defense practice, said when soldiers are committed to involuntarily to mental health facilities by others in the chain of command, it is a reportable event under Army regulations that triggers a requirement to alert others. A provost marshal enters the incident into a military database that puts the FBI on notice so it can enter the name into a background list of people prevented from buying weapons. The FBI did not immediately respond to queries on whether it was made aware of Card's threats. If they took him and he didn't want to go and refused to be admitted, it's a slam dunk. This should have been reported. But Maine Department of Public Safety Commissioner Michael Sawchuk said in a news conference Saturday that while Card has a history of mental illness, there was no evidence that he had ever been involuntarily committed. Wow. Just because there appears to be a mental health nexus to this scenario, the vast majority of people with mental health diagnosis will never hurt anybody, Sawchuk said. Joey Madeira, an Indiana University law professor. What the fuck does this guy have to do with anything? This guy's not in New York or Maine. He's an Indiana, random fucking Indiana fucking professor. This is why we don't trust the fucking media. The fucking AP is putting out quotes by random fucking left-wing professor on a story that's just literally just facts about a guy who did shit. Indiana University law professor who studied gun laws said police in one state can alert counterparts in another state that someone is a danger, and the military can do the same with police. You needed an Indiana law professor to say, yeah, 2 cop agencies can talk to one another. Fucking hell. You literally had to quote a random fucking professor to say cops can talk to each other. Fuck. I can't. That's why these articles are so long. I initially started with a different article for the Mike Pence thing we're going to talk about later. But literally, it was giving me Mike Pence's entire fucking life story and everything some random Republican had to say about it. Like, we don't need every... Like, what in the hell? She said somebody dropped the ball because cards threats... Yeah, Jody Madeira. She said someone dropped the ball because cards threats and medical evaluation should have triggered a yellow flag seizure of his guns when he returned home. He slipped through the cracks, Madeira said. There were warning signs. That was it. That was literally it. That was it. We had these 3 little paragraphs where random teachers said, yeah, they should have took his guns. Random person. Cops could have talked to each other and determined it was bad enough to take his guns. Like, this is literally a tweet. I mean, this is the equivalent of a tweet. It probably was a tweet. And then someone at the AP is like, hey, can we quote you on that? I'm curious. I'm fucking curious. And since I got a little extra time today, let me look this up. Jody Madeira. I'm going to try to find... This was probably a tweet. Lifer academic, happily spending my sentences on law, medicine, bioethics, reproductive technology, the Second Amendment, and substance use. Okay. This was, I swear. Let me just skim here. Oh, wait, 2020. Yeah, all this shit's from 2020. Looks like maybe like disappeared throughout all of 2021 and hasn't posted since December 20th of 2022. I wonder, when was that Elon Musk took over? Okay, let's read some of these. Let's read some of these here courses: law and medicine, reproductive childhood in the law and medicine and torts. So, law professor here. This law professor background. Earned her JD in magna cum laude. Served as senior articles editor for University of Pennsylvania Journal of Constitutional Law. Oh, was a clerk for a U.S. Court of Appeals at the Seventh Circuit of Chicago. Oh, wow. What a leftist. Oh, did a TED Talk on what happens when law can't keep up with technology. Oh, look, wrote a book on McVeigh and the death penalty. Patients and fertility clinics collaborate in conception. Personal injury law treatise for LexisNexis. Second Amendment gun rights and regulation. Her research is profiled in national and international media, including the Netflix documentary Our Father, to TED, to news programs like 2020. This is weird. Like some of these, like she's literally, Her Indiana EDU page is literally, she's listing every article in which she has ever been quoted in. This is creepy. This is creepy. Like, not only am I like, why is she being quoted? But then you go back and like she literally posts every time she's quoted in the media to her Indiana EDU page. Let me read this here real quick. Here's an old. Okay, so she testifies also in First Amendment bill hearing or Second Amendment bill hearings. Oh, and of course, yeah, she's against the Second Amendment, as I figured. Okay, so enough of that little side quest. So let's see what else we can find out about this Maine shooting, because like I said, suspect in mass shootings found dead. This is sort of a live update thread on USA Today. Man suspected of fatally shooting 18 people and wounding 13 others in Maine has been found dead, authorities said Friday night. Robert Card, wanting for shootings at Schmingy's Bar and Grill and Just-in-Time Recreation Bowling Alley, died of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Maine Department of Public Safety Commissioner Mike Soschuk said in a news briefing late Friday. The body was found at 7:45 p.m. near the Androscoggin River in Lisbon Falls, Soschuk said. Officials declined to provide an estimated time of death. Now's the time to heal, Maine Governor Janet Mills said at a briefing Friday night. And with this, the search concluded. I know that law enforcement continues to fully investigate all the facts so we can bring what closure we can to the victims and their families. Authorities have been searching for Card 40 of Bowdoin, Maine, since the shootings in Lewiston on Wednesday night had issued murder warrants against him. Law enforcement found a note Thursday night during searches of a home connected to the suspect in the shootings. During a news conference on Friday, Soschuk confirmed a note was discovered but said, I'm not permitted to really talk about what that included. He said investigators are looking into whether the note ties in with a potential mindset or motive. The shelter-in-place order was lifted Friday afternoon, Soschuk announced at a news briefing. He still urged residents to remain vigilant and report suspicious activity. Hunting restrictions announced earlier Friday were lifted following the discovery of Card's body. Multiple school districts canceled classes as the search for Card continued. Authorities announced Friday that they were focusing search efforts on the Androscoggin River, where a vehicle belonging to Card was found at a boat ramp 8 miles from Lewiston. Authorities warned residents as far as 50 miles from the Just-in-Time Bowling Alley and Schmingy's Bar and Grill to stay inside and lock their doors. The dragnet has brought hundreds of local, state, and federal law enforcement agents to largely rural areas of southern Maine in search of the Army reservist. And then here we have the names of the 18 dead. I'm just going to take just a moment to leave that on the screen and let you folks read them at your own will. And I'm not going to read them aloud. I'm going to just be silent for a minute. My heart goes out to the families of those victims. Rose Storer, 48, wept as she spoke about 3 people she knows who were killed in the shootings. Storer grew up in Lewiston as one of the many residents under lockdown and rattled by massacres. I just don't understand how they just let him go 5 miles down the road and let him do it again, she told USA Today of the suspected shooter. I don't know how you expect that to be happening, but I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's senseless. It doesn't make any sense. Store who was walking her dog Gizmo said she's frightened Card is still out there. I'm beside myself that this has happened to so many people, she said, adding, I'm a little bit paranoid, not going to lie. Okay, we kind of already covered the what happened in the earlier. Police search farmhouse. Okay. Deaf community mourns Maine tragedy. The Wednesday night massacre that left 18 people has shaken the deaf community after a shooter gunned down a bar as a group of deaf people gathered for a cornhole tournament, some of whom were killed in the gunfire. Cornhole or corn toss is a game similar to horseshoes in which players toss corn bags at a wooden box, hoping to score points based on the quality of their throw. The National Association for the Deaf released a statement following the tragedy and lists resources for the deaf community, including crisis intervention and therapy. Pass this over a little bit. We heard about the school districts closing, families remembering the dead. We posted the dead. Maine Congressman flips stance on assault weapons. Rep. Jared Golden of Maine reversed his long-held stance opposing an assault weapon bans, and assault weapon bans. It's fucking USA Today. Get a goddamn editor. Jesus fuck. And called on Congress to outlaw the deadly weapons of war, he said at a news conference. And of course, he's obviously a Democrat. Okay. One last article, and then one more tweet, and then we'll move on from this topic. NPR here. Maine shooter's body was found near a scene that had been searched by police. Authorities in Maine said Saturday that the body of suspect Robert Card was found inside a trailer close to the recycling center on Friday evening. The self-inflicted gunshot wound was the apparent cause of his death after a 2-day manhunt prompted by the latest U.S. mass shooting left 18 people dead and 13 wounded. Maine Public Safety Commissioner Mike Soschek said nearby trailers had previously been cleared twice by police teams before another state police team responding to concerns by the site's owner had found Card's body alongside 2 guns inside a trailer in an overspilled car park. Soschek told reporters in Lewiston that police had recovered another weapon that he called a long gun inside the suspect's car, but did not provide further details on the weapon. A note found during the investigation had been addressed by Card to a, quote, loved one, Soschek said. And though it was not an explicit suicide note, it did include access codes to his bank accounts and a cell phone that investigators are currently trying to examine. On Friday, police released the names of all 18 victims. The dead ranged in age from a couple in their 70s to a teenage boy. Seeing these pictures come up on the board, I know a couple of them myself. Officials express relief after manhunt ends. Okay, we're not going to hear all that. Anyway, so one last piece of propaganda. Here's gun grabbers on Twitter are sharing shit like this. By the way, cheers to Sangland86 in the chat. Welcome. Let me go ahead and put your comment on screen here. We need a full investigation in the FBI and AFT boys, BATFE, just to find out how many mass shootings they've been involved in. I agree. Okay, so here we have, the Lewiston, Maine shooter used a .308 caliber AR-15 rifle. Wow. Holy shit. That sounds deadly. Look at the picture. .308 versus .223. This is even more powerful and deadly version of the .223 assault rifle used during most recent mass shootings. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm like focusing on this tweet, it's because everything that guy just said is bullshit. Unless you've severely modified your weapon, AR-15 doesn't come in 308. It doesn't take 308, man. It's an AR-10. The news reports are that it's an AR-10. But you see, AR-10 doesn't necessarily get the same boogeyman as AR-15. So people are tweeting this shit. And of course, people are rightly mocking them down in the comments. But this goes to show they don't care about accuracy. See, now if this was a right winger trying to talk about evidence of why our Second Amendment is important and they made a minor fucking mistake, oh man, there would be Snopes and factcheck.org and like you couldn't post it anywhere because they would just the most minor of mistakes would just WTF pwn your reporting on it. It just wouldn't be allowed. So yeah, we have the Maine shooting. Wow. And I'm glad that nightmare is over. Speaking of nightmares, look, let me take a step back and just say using tragedies to attack the Second Amendment will never ever again work. The kind of authoritarianism that was posed over COVID cannot be allowed. One of the things that keep this nation free is an armed populace. The real question is why other folks in Lewiston, Maine weren't armed in an ability to stop that dangerous man. As soon as you see somebody opening fire with an AR-10 inside of a bowling alley, that man should have been dropped by a concealed carry holder. But unfortunately, we live in a society that's so terrified that nobody wants to carry. And the use of it is propaganda for, quote, white supremacy. Is laughable. Because quite frankly, the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Whether the good guy or the bad guy is white, black, purple, doesn't fucking matter. You have a bad guy with a gun, and he needs to be stopped by a good guy with the gun. Now, in this case, the guy stopped himself. The guy became the good guy by stopping himself with his own gun. Unfortunately, he wasn't stopped to prevent any unfortunate deaths. But he eventually stopped himself instead of turning himself in because he was a fucking coward. Now, granted, we just talked about how awful prison was on my, or prison can be on my last broadcast. But quite frankly, this guy, suicide was too good for him. He deserved to be dropped by someone in the community. Okay. Singlet 86 says you can do a straight pull bolt single shot 308 on an AR-15 receiver, but I doubt the clown knows that. Yeah, and of course these people on these left-wing Twitter accounts, that's not what they're talking about. And when they talk about AR-15, they're specifically talking about not single shot. They're talking about loading up a magazine. So let's talk a little bit about the weather. Now, you have a lot of propaganda about climate change out there. I'm not going to get into that debate. But apparently we've had... Where would that go? Okay. Acapulco, Mexico. Acapulco, Mexico was hit by Hurricane Otis. So I'm going to show a little bit of footage. This is aerial footage of what Acapulco, Mexico looks like. Here, let me turn off the fucking loud helicopter noises. Look at the yachts just destroyed. Go ahead and pause it a couple times. Okay, resorts destroyed. The docks just completely demolished. I mean, docks, resorts. I mean, you can't really see much up here, but we'll keep flying here in a second. This is crazy. Look at just sunken and capsized boats everywhere. Okay, now we're getting into now I don't know if you could see that resort. It looks like a lot of the windows and support structure for the top floors are just gone. Okay, and then we come over here. A lot of this doesn't look too damaged. Coastline's a little fucked up. Okay, we're going to circle back. I'm going to skip forward a little bit. And now it's lagging. Awesome. Gotta love that in the live broadcast, huh, folks? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just totally dead. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah. Now here's the last few minutes or last 30 seconds of this. Okay, now you could see like there's cars up into the hill. It's crazy. Again, you see right through some of these buildings. So again, prayers to anyone out in Acapulco. You know, Acapulco, very beautiful part of the world. So yeah, my condolences and cheers, and I hope everyone who's having a hard time, hope you make it through it. And also we have China. Typhoon Sanba. Immense flooding. Oh my. No music. Look at the flooding after Typhoon Sanba in China. Okay, go ahead and bring that down. So yeah, it's been a week, and here in the Midwest, we've been pelted with just days of rain. Days of rain. How's weather where y'all are at? Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about South Park. I want to give him you know what? No, I'm gonna wait. Let's do that after 6:00 because I don't know who else I've drug in with my headlines. I won't do that just yet. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to be very careful here because I want to save three of the main topics. Let's talk about Ron DeSantis, why don't we? Y'all are familiar with Ron DeSantis, right? This is from Gateway Pundit by, quote, guest contributor. Not sure who the hell that is. Florida Republican Assembly issues declaration and urges DeSantis to end presidential campaign and return to Florida to govern the state again. This article originally appeared on joehoff.com. Okay, so here's joehoff.com. About Joe. Okay, who the hell's... Oh, okay, radio host. I'm assuming in Florida. Anyway. So, originally appeared on joehoff.com and was republished with permission. The Florida Republican Assembly issued a declaration calling for Governor Ron DeSantis to come home to Florida and get back to governing the state, which is what I've been saying all along. Most people in Florida were very happy with how Governor DeSantis governed the state once he was elected governor. Most would agree that overall he handled COVID well and has done many good things while governor. Hold on just a second, folks. Okay. Sorry, my sinuses were a little going crazy there for a minute. Most would agree that overall he handled COVID well and has done many good things while governor. DeSantis was reelected in 2022, and most Floridians he believed he would make a good VP for President Trump and were surprised when he decided to run for governor. DeSantis had to have the Florida law changed in order to run for president and held back his announcement until the law was changed. He then joined the race with a thud when he came out on Twitter, and it bombed. DeSantis has not done well in the primaries, but no GOP candidate has done well in the primaries other than President Trump. Now the Florida Republican Assembly is calling for his return. They released a declaration requesting that DeSantis come back to Florida and begin governing their state again. I got two things to say. Like this article, he's not done well in the primaries. He's not done well in polling. Let's be fucking accurate here. He hasn't done well in the polling. Polling isn't the election. Like, until we get to Iowa and New Hampshire, you can't say he hasn't done well in the primaries because there have been no primaries to do well in. He has not done well in polling. He started off hot in the polls, but lately he's really faltering. There's been a lot of hype for other candidates. He has not done well in the debates. Vivek Ramaswamy has kind of done about, even with DeSantis. But this idea that he's not done well in the primaries, nobody has cast a single vote yet. Anyway, so here's what the Florida Republicans have to say. Article 4, Section 1A of the Florida Constitution clearly states that the governor shall take care of the laws of the state be faithfully executed, shall commission all officers of the state and counties, and transact necessary business with the officers of government. Whereas Governor DeSantis was elected to serve the people of the state of Florida and complete his 4-year term, and Governor DeSantis has been using his position as governor to campaign for the office of President of the United States, taking him away from his official duties and responsibilities to the citizens of Florida, frequently at taxpayer expense. And whereas Governor DeSantis' presidential campaign has been met with a lack of enthusiasm by voters nationally, has not gained any significant momentum. In fact, to the contrary. And whereas Governor DeSantis' Florida presidential campaign has caused a distraction in the mechanism of government within Florida, and the interests of Florida residents has been placed secondary to those of his presidential campaign. Public issues in dire need of attention or correction are the following: homeowners and auto insurance, of which premiums have skyrocketed, banning the jab, corrections of omissions and defects in the 2022 open carry legislation, legislation prohibiting any presence of non-Florida law enforcement agencies such as the Capitol Police within Florida, demands for justice for January 6th, Washington, D.C. political prisoners, of whom on a daily basis more and more hidden exculpatory evidence continues to surface, indicating that January 6th was indeed a 2020 Pelosi-Schumer-sponsored, uniquely American replay of the 1933 Berlin Reichstag fire. Holy fuck, based-ass fucking Florida legislature here. Additionally, legislation prohibiting Florida's assimilation into the World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, and the United Nations-based Vienna Organization, falsely known for implying its advocacy of security cooperation, but in reality known for unlawful interference in elections and for strengthening and enforcing of protections against unlawful and corrupt persecution and prosecution of American citizens. All these and more are issues in need of immediate attention by Governor Desantis. Therefore, it be resolved that Florida Republican Assembly urges Governor Ron DeSantis to conclude his presidential campaign and return to Florida to continue to serve out the remainder of his term as governor. Furthermore, the Florida Republican Assembly requests that Governor DeSantis dedicate himself to the needs of Florida residents and prioritize their interests over his personal political ambitions. The Florida Republican Assembly recognizes that campaigning for office is an important aspect of the political process, but elected officials must always prioritize the needs of their constituents. We call upon Governor DeSantis and all elected officials of Florida to fulfill their duties with integrity, and commitment to the people. Public service is a privilege, not a career advancement opportunity, and elected officials must always place the interests of their constituents first. Witness my hand and seal verifying the foregoing resolution adopted by unanimous vote this 27th day of October in the year of our Lord 2023. Wow. They fucking dropped bombs about January 6th, right? And banning the jab. They called it the jab, right? You gotta love it. You gotta love it. How are you folks doing out there? How are you folks? Let me know how you're doing down in the chat or in the comments. I would like to take a moment. We're coming up on the halfway mark of this unexpected 2-hour program here. We're trust me, I've got content. I can fill the time. Watch me. So yeah, we've got at least 3 more topics to discuss, and maybe 4. We'll see. But yeah, I do want to fill the next minute and a half here because I'm sure we might have another person or two filter in at the 6 o'clock hour when this show was normally scheduled to be broadcast. My Lord. Let me just say, I've been real grumpy lately. I've been real grumpy. I've been mad at my diet. But I see a breathing specialist next week. So let me just take a quick second to say, okay, so the Wednesday program should be taking part as normally scheduled. If you're used to joining us every week, I want to say that my next Saturday program will probably not take place on Saturday. My next weekend, I will most likely be doing a show at some point Sunday afternoon. maybe like right at noon or 12:30-ish. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm going to be going to an event. I'm going to be going to a whiskey tasting in Kansas City. It's going to be pretty interesting. I went last year. I got hammered. I believe I spoke endlessly about it on this program. I had a blast. I made an ass out of myself, and I loved it. I fucking loved it. So I'm definitely going this year, and I'm going to be, spending a little bit of money, but tasting a lot of different whiskeys from across the nation, and it should be quite the interesting thing. I want to issue a welcome to anyone showing up here at 6:00. I actually accidentally started the show an hour early. I still have all the main topics from the link down below, or the title of the video rather. I still have all of those topics still left to discuss. I haven't dived into any of those. I spent most of the broadcast so far talking about the shootings in Maine and the investigations into those shootings. But yeah, now we're going to get into the main part of the show. I did talk a little bit about Ron Desantis and the Florida, as you see on the screen here, the Florida Republicans asking Ron DeSantis to ditch his presidential campaign and come back and finish being governor. So we have that, and yeah, I'm sorry if you missed that part of the program. I would advise you to watch the rest of this program, then go back and watch the first half. I'm sorry, I did not mean to go live early. But anyway, so we're live now. So welcome to Miles Culture Plate. I'm your host, Mild Kevin Miles. Welcome, feds, degenerates, cuckolds of all ages. It is, once again, October 28th, 2023, and we're going to continue. Let's talk about this. This is from Redux, Feminist News and Opinions. Women abandon Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament after being forced to fight males. Female martial artists have come forward to reveal that male athletes claiming to be transgender have completely overtaken the women's categories of a major grappling association, leaving them fearing for their safety in many instances. One of the men, Carissa Griffith, took home 4 gold medals in the women's category during a tournament in Georgia on October 21st. I'm imagining that might be this person here. Maybe this person. Look at the fan and the flag. Oh my Lord. The North American Grappling Association, NAGA. What up, NAGA? Is the largest submission grappling association in the world and facilitates standards and tournaments in various martial arts, including Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But while NAGA has provided competition categories for male and female since its inception in 1995, it has recently become the subject of controversy after a number of female athletes were found to have matched up against trans-identified males. Wow. The issue first received widespread attention in September after it was learned that a female Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete had not been informed she would be competing against a male. Taylor Moore posted a clip of her fight against James Alice McPike on her Instagram, noting that there was a 65 pounds weight difference between them. And here it is. North American Grappling Association has revised their gender identity policy after a 135-pound female jiu-jitsu athlete was matched to compete against a 200-pound trans-identified male. James Alice McPike took home silver in the women's category. Wow. Okay. Following the clip going viral, NAGA was prompted to issue a statement clarifying its policies on the inclusion of trans-identified males in the women's category. NAGA does not require biological women to compete against transgender women. Instead, we give the choice to biological women, and if they decline, they compete in division with only other biological women. Naga also provided a link to their policy. Let's see this here real quick. Division for cisgender females. We will have divisions for only cisgender females. Transgender females will not be entered into these divisions. Transgender females must complete division options for transgender females. Transgender females must complete in the men's division. We hope that the simplicity of this revised policy. Okay, so now they're saying they must compete in the men's division. I don't understand what's going on here. Why is this news? For those who choose not to compete with the transgender female, we will require that they have interest in entering a separate division which includes the transgender female. Wait, what? This additional division will be offered at no cost. Okay, so I get it. Okay, so wow, this is hard to fucking parse, man. For those who choose not to compete with the transgender female, we will ask if they want to enter the division with the transgender females. Okay. This additional division will be offered at no cost to those competitors. However, if individuals decline this opportunity, the transgender female will be directed to compete with the males in their respective weight and skill level category. Okay, that's weird. But despite claiming to have had a policy in the past that required female athletes to be informed, many are coming forward to reveal that Naga has continued to pair women against trans-identified males without their knowledge and depriving them of the opportunity to opt out in many instances. Speaking to Redux, professional martial artists Jaden Alexander and Ansley Wilk highlighted their experience of being made to fight against males with no prior warnings until stepping onto the mat. I honestly never thought this would happen in a contact sport, especially not my contact sport. You know, there's always as long as it's not happening in my backyard, right? Cheers to Squishy Hunter over on Rumble. Cheers, welcome. When I saw him, I was so shocked I didn't know how to respond. Both Alexander and Wilk fought against Cordelia Gregory of Temporal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, who is one of many trans-identified males currently participating in Naga women's tournaments. Both women described that they were not informed they would be competing against a male until it was too late during the July tournaments. I hadn't been notified. The only thing that brought it to my attention was my teammates. They kept asking me, "Are you fighting a man?" And I was honestly too focused on coaching the rest of the crew to really pay attention to my opponent, Wilk said. I realized very quickly I couldn't muscle them like most girls. Wilk, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt and coach, added, "Well, obviously, because it wasn't a girl." Not long after, I had to do a second match of which Cordelia threw a tantrum saying he didn't tap out. I was sincerely scared he wasn't going to punch me when I stuck my hand out to shake his. Wow. Both women also note the experience of fighting Gregory was distinctly different than that of fighting a woman. The fact of the matter is he had a man's strength. I train with men and women, and the difference is massive, Alexander explains. After my match with Cordelia, I sat mat side and cried as my teammates massaged out my cramping forearms. Holy shit. Despite Naga's September claim that its policy was to inform female athletes if their competitor was a biological man, watchdogs have noted that no enforcement of the policy appears to be taking place, even since their September announcement. A rule is only effective if the Federation will follow it and, most importantly, enforce it, says Marcy Smith, co-founder of the Independent Council on Women's Sports, ICONS. She noted that on October 21st, a female grappler was blindsided into fighting not one, but two trans-identified males during the tournament. Danielle Lenane, one of the only females involved in the competition, was made to fight Cordelia Gregory and Carissa Griffith, the latter representing Odyssey Jiu-Jitsu. Following the fight, Lenane asked for her record to be wiped clean of any indication she'd fought either one of the men. Smith said that during the October 21st tournament, there were more males participating than the women in some of the women's divisions. In the women's no-gi fight for the 160 to 169 pound weight class, only Griffith and Gregory participated and took home medals. On his Instagram, Griffith joked about the match, posting a scene from a Japanese softcore pornography series and suggesting that the two women represented him and Gregory. And of course, the Instagram post is not here. What does Instagram have against these beautiful trans women? I'm going to go ahead and hold on for just one more moment while I go ahead and take care of my sinuses again. Okay. Jaden Alexander says she and other females were set to compete in the October 21st tournament, but dropped out after seeing how many males were involved. There was not just one, but two trans-identified males who were signed up in a bracket that me and several other women should have been able to sign up for, but couldn't because we didn't want to go against the men. And for a man to be able to come in and sign up in the women's bracket and discourage us from being able to compete at all is absolutely heartbreaking and honestly scary. Ansley Wilk reaffirmed Alexander's sentiment and added that most female participants feel unable to vocally protest the gender self-identification policies. The majority of the women feel scared to even speak out about this matter. They don't want to be labeled a bigot or transphobe, Wilk said. There's so many girls just not signing up because they're allowing this. Women's sports will cease to exist if this keeps up. Medals, belts, records, and money are going to be stripped right away from women. Marcy Smith similarly notes that women have been self-excluding from competitions, but attempts to formally lodge complaints about being paired up against males have fallen on deaf ears. I have now spoken to 4 women who have all fought male fighters in the combat sport of jiu-jitsu. They are extremely upset. They are self-excluding. They are emailing Federation leadership and being dismissed. These organizations and the teams that are encouraging this dangerous display of violence against women need to be publicly shamed into doing what is right for women or reap the outrage that comes with cowardice. Special thanks to the Independent Council on Women's Sports for their assistance. Wow. So yeah, this Naga. We need to rein in Naga, man. Should I do it? Should I do it? Let's do the Pence thing first. Mike Pence suspends 2024 presidential campaign. Facing lackluster fundraising and struggling to make the stage at the next nomination debate, former vice president drops his bid. From Fox News, former Vice President Mike Pence on Saturday announced that he's suspending his 2024 Republican presidential campaign. Quote, I came here to say it's become clear to me that this is not my time, Pence said in his surprise announcement at the annual Republican Jewish Coalition Convention. All right. So after much prayer and deliberation, I've decided to suspend my campaign for president effective today. Former vice president did not endorse any of the other candidates. Let's see. Former vice president lost his campaign early in June. While he spent plenty of time over the summer and into the autumn on the campaign trail in the early voting states of Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, his White House bid never took off. Pence stood in the mid to low single digits in the latest surveys, and his fundraising was meager. The former vice president struggled, but ultimately succeeded to reach the polling and donor thresholds to qualify for the first two Republican presidential nomination debates, but as of Saturday, he still remained short of hitting the criteria to make the stage for the third. Sources in Pence political orbit tells Fox News that the final decision to drop out of the race came in the past day or two after fundraising didn't alleviate concerns about reaching the donor threshold. Quote, we always knew this would be an uphill battle, but I have no regrets. The only thing that would have been harder than coming up short would have been if we'd never tried at all, Pence told the crowd at the RJC annual leadership meeting in Vegas as he announced the suspension of his White House bid. Holy shit, Pence is in Vegas? Pence is in Vegas. Wonder what he's doing there other than this Jewish conference. Like, and why would they hold like a Jewish leadership conference in Las Vegas of all places? Seems sus to me, man. I think they're out there, gambling and drinking. Pence told the crowd to applause and cheers that, quote, I say this is not my time, but it is still your time. I urge you to hold fast to what matters, faith, family, and the Constitution of the United States of America. I am proud that our campaign stood firm on America's role as the leader of the free world. Pence made a final appeal for the GOP to return to its conservative neocon roots and resist what he's repeatedly called the siren song of populism. Yeah, fuck populism in a Republican Party dramatically reshaped by his running mate, former President Donald Trump. RJC Chief Executive Officer Matt Brooks told Fox News, quote, from his time in Congress to his time as governor to his time as vice president, Mike Pence has been an unwavering friend and critical ally in defense of Israel and in defense of the Jewish community in combating anti-Semitism. He's always answered the call, and he's always been an incredible friend, and I think that was reflected in the response he got from the audience, Brooks emphasized. Trump, who spoke about 25 minutes after Pence, made no reference to the news of his former running mate's departure from the race. Florida Governor Desantis, speaking directly after the former vice president, also did not address Pence's breaking news. But the next speaker, former ambassador to the UN and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, started her address by praising Pence. The neocons always stick together. Cheers to numbers. Here, I'll bring it up. Oh, no. Cheers. Welcome. I'm not used to seeing a username that's all numbers, but welcome. Anyway, so Nikki Haley, I want to first say just a special point to Vice President Mike Pence. He's been a good man of faith. He's been a good man of service. He has fought for America and he has fought for Israel. And we all owe him a debt of gratitude, Haley said to applause from the crowd. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina spoke earlier the day at the RJC confab. Man, if they're all there, what the hell? But after Pence suspended his campaign, Scott said in a statement that the vice president has been a prayer partner, a friend, a man of integrity and deep conviction. The Republican Party is stronger today because of Mike's leadership. Wow, they're all out here in Vegas at the Jewish conference. Yeah, Chris Christie, who also addressed the audience, said in a statement that I'm beyond grateful for everything Mike Pence has done for this country. He has consistently fought for American values. From his time in Congress to the governorship and serving the American people as vice president. Here's the cool part. Pence, in his stump speeches, touted the Trump-Pence administration's policy successes, but contrasted himself with the controversial president in terms of tone and tenor. People around the country want to see us restore a threshold of civility in our political debate, Pence said. You can disagree without being disagreeable. People that know me know I take very strong stands. I'm conservative, but not in a bad mood about it. Trump. Everything's about Trump. 4 lesser-known candidates. Okay, Pence becomes the first major Republican presidential tender to drop out of the 2024 GOP nomination race. 4 lesser-known candidates who all failed to qualify for the debates have already suspended their campaigns. Former CIA agent and former Representative Will Hurd of Texas, Mayor Francis Suarez of Miami, Florida, business leader and quality control expert Perry Johnson, and the 2021 California gubernatorial recall election candidate and former conservative talk show host Larry Elder. So, yeah, Pence becomes the 5th to fall. Goodbye. Na 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 na. Hey, hey. Goodbye. Let's go ahead and remove that. Is it time? Is it time? I think it's time. So I've been saving something I found a couple weeks ago. I've been saving it just for a time like this. I had a couple conversations with some other creators, some other online creator types, and we're going to do 2 of these today. So if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, I stumbled on a YouTube channel. A YouTube channel that puts out the kind of content that would make you go, what the fuck? And just scrolling, just lightly scrolling the titles made me spew liquid out of my nose and mouth repeatedly. And I shared the link with a few of my fellow creators, and, they kind of sounded interested, but they didn't kind of commit to coming on. I was hoping to cover this with some other funny people, but they just couldn't commit to coming on. But we're going to get into a couple of videos from a YouTube channel. And so I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This YouTube channel is called Love Don't Judge. Now think about it. Think about the title. Now what this YouTube channel seems to do is go around finding interesting relationships, interesting situationships, unique cases of love. And then they do like a quick 6 to 10 minute video outlining all of the challenges of these unique relationships. And it's called Love Don't Judge. So shout out to Love Don't Judge. I'm gonna have to remember after the show. I need to go down in the description. I will provide a link. I will switch that up. But as of right now, let's check this out. This is their newest video, and I may be doing like one of these every week or two. I'm not quite sure. They've got a ton of content, but let's check out their newest video over there. And I will comment a little bit. So this is called "I planned to quote milk him dry, but then I fell in love."
This is 30-year-old Carrie. She fell in love with 63-year-old Randy. Carrie admits that initially...
So she's 30 and he's in his 60s. God damn. Why can't I find a 30-year-old?
She used Randy for his money.
Randy and I met on Tinder. My first intention was to basically milk him dry and peace out.
But her feelings towards Randy developed over time.
I felt...
Oh shit! Did you not need the money anymore? Like, what's up with your lip filler? Dear Lord.
sorry that I was kind of neglecting him and his feelings.
However, some people in her life are still unsure that she really has good intentions.
People typically assume that I'm a gold digger.
Does this guy just want some young, hot girl who's vulnerable?
Where are you on your budget?
Yes. Yes, that's what every guy wants. A hot girl that's vulnerable. That's what every guy wants.
I blew it again.
Have you been shopping lately? I know that answer.
Almost
That's
every day.
She normally spends money.
Okay, so she planned to milk him dry, but then no, she's just milking him slowly. Because if she milks him slowly, then he could just get more money, and then she could just continue the grift. Like, this isn't much of a change.
On clothes.
My name is Carrie, and I'm 30 years old.
I'm Randy. I'm 63 years old.
And we have a 33-year age gap. I'm a stay-at-home girlfriend, and I just started an OnlyFans.
I do sales. I've been doing sales for 30 years.
Randy,
Yeah, babe.
you want to help me pack for Coachella?
Oh, good idea.
Coachella.
So here is the pink translucent.
Uh-oh. Coachella. Okay, pink translucent. That looks like that's leopard skin.
Raw. You like that?
Oh, there's pink in it.
That's
Okay.
a thong. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
will
Oh,
be,
yeah.
definitely noticed in that. In the beginning of our relationship, she would go over her.
Okay, fellas, if you're in your 60s and your lady's in her 30s, would you let her go to a concert like this? I mean,
budget thousands of
Coachella.
dollars. And finally, we had to have a come to Jesus meeting. I don't even know she's over her budget until she calls me and says, my Amex isn't working. And I said,
So she's out hoeing around and just picks up the phone and says, hey, baby, I maxed out my Amex. And you're just like, okay, I guess I'll pay pig the shit. Oh, dude. This but then I fell in love. You didn't fall in love. You fell in love with the idea that you could continue to pay pig him.
okay, well, you can have it, but that's it. And then normally, like 2 days later, she was like, well, I need this.
Randy and I met on
Look at
Tinder
the
in
clothing.
2019. I just swiped up to the age. I just made it go the whole way up.
All the way up to 99.
What attracted me to him was probably he went on vacation a lot. I actually thought that it was going to be more of a business transaction. My first intentions when I met Randy was to basically milk him dry.
So hang on. Real quick. Cheers to Shut Up I Can Cook over on YouTube. Welcome. Cheers. And another cheers for your sick cat. Hope the cat gets better. Cheers.
I wanted to get from him what I could and peace out.
Every once in a while, I would get a message, hey, can you do me a favor and help me out? Because, I'm low on money.
After a while of him
Oh, can you help me out? I'm low on money. Guys, what do you do if an e-thought starts messaging you asking for money?
doing that, I just disappeared one day. I didn't message him for months. I said, you know what? I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to work a job. So I was walking to work. I didn't have a car. After I disappeared for a while, he messaged me out of concern because he hadn't heard from me.
I said, look, I'll buy.
So wait, he sent you money, and then you're like, well, now I feel bad for taking his money, and then you disappear, and then you ghosted him? You ghosted him, and then he followed up.
Your car. I said, so this way you can get back and forth to work because I don't want you walking.
Wait, did he just say he bought her a car? Hang on, I gotta go back.
I ended up back and forth to work
because he hadn't heard from me.
I said, look, I'll buy you a car.
I'll buy you a
so
car.
This way you can get back and forth to work because I don't want you walking.
I'll buy you a car. I hope that thing was a '94 Corolla.
Buying her a BMW.
I'm so grateful that he's giving me the car. Thank you.
What? This was before they started knocking boots. He buys her a BMW before he even saw what's under the bra. A BMW. You're a fucking pay pig.
Talking, I decided to meet him in person because my life was getting a little bit better because of him. He was helping me out long distance. And I felt sorry that I was kind of neglecting him and his feelings when he was doing so much for me.
when I first met her, I was like, wow, she's hot.
Be honest. You're like, hey, I got a car. I wonder what else I could get if I actually showed the guy my tits.
I had never been with an older man before, so I didn't know if he was safe.
Yeah, she always.
Didn't know if an older man was safe. What do you think? Just everyone. Oh my God. That's going to start a whole other rant. I'm not going to.
We thought I was going to kill her.
I realized that I had feelings for Randy when he sat me down one day and said, make a list of all your problems and we'll check them off one by one. And probably a week later, he said to me, if you give me a year, I'll change your life.
So,
What
babe,
the fuck is up
you
with
gonna
your
make that
lip?
breakfast casserole?
Yeah, we had it before. I liked it. We've gone to a restaurant
That
before
is like
and
bad
he
lip
has
filler.
gone to the restroom and I'm sitting there and they'll ask me what my dad wants to drink.
What?
And normally I just
Hold up. Oh, what does your dad want to drink? What does your dad want to drink? I can't, man. I can't.
just go with it. Sometimes I'll correct them. I don't like to embarrass people. So I let it go and then give an awkward kiss
After the meal. She'll be
after
like,
the meal.
she'll be like,
Like, hey, come here, let's make out real quick because that waitress just called you my dad. Let's make sure she's on. Come on. Whew.
this is what my dad wants.
Yeah. People typically assume that I'm a gold digger or I have daddy issues.
Yes. It's not an assumption. You have confirmed it by taking a fucking BMW from this man.
People stare. Sometimes I catch them pointing. I've seen them make fun
Look
of us.
at those
or
fucking
me
lips.
especially.
I don't think Carrie's using me for my money because I've seen a change
Wait,
in the
there
way
was
she treats
cheese?
me. In the beginning, yes, but in the
That
last
might be bell pepper.
2 or 3 years, no.
I don't think this chick knows how to
Nope,
cook.
not at all. She really cares. She wants to make sure that I take my medicine because I got a high blood pressure.
I'm not
High blood pressure. Oh my God. You take your high blood pressure meds. We wouldn't want you to drop dead in the middle of filling out your will.
using
Wink,
Randy for his
wink.
money anymore. At the beginning, of course, I had a different mindset. But when you fall in love with somebody, then you appreciate them for what they are and not what they have. The online judgment has been, I guess, difficult
The
for me
online
more than it
judgment.
has him.
So wait. Okay, so what do you think the online judgment is? Do you think it's from like family on Facebook, or do you think they're taking this thing viral? Do you think they're like, is she posting on Instagram like a thought and then having him in the photo? What's your guys' guess? Are they thoughting or is it like family judging them?
A lot of the comments that people have said are, he's going to die in the next couple of years.
Oh, shit.
I'm dating my grandpa.
Oh shit! They're saying he's gonna die, but he's only 63. Come on now. He's not in his 70s. He's not like President Biden or anything, man. He's speaking in full sentences. He's not getting lost and falling down the stairs.
I'm sorry.
I have 2 boys that are they're younger than Carrie, and both of them actually thought, "Wow, Dad, she's hot as shit." And they get along with her very well. And they were like,
Yeah, I would put ones in the chat if you think one of his sons have already banged his wife or girlfriend.
you know, I got to give you kudos. You're doing great.
Initially, my friends were surprised.
Oh, they're
So my
putting
friend
the
Sabrina's
eggs
going
on
to come
top
over
of
in
the
a little
chicken.
bit. She hasn't been that supportive.
Okay, sorry. I got to get real judgy for a moment. You don't put eggs on chicken, and you don't put chicken on eggs. That's like some weird food incest, bathing the mother in the fucking guts of her baby kind of shit. Like, that's some Hillary Clinton. Don't put eggs in chicken or don't put chicken in eggs. Dear Lord.
I'm Sabrina. I've been Carrie's friend since we were about 16 years old. We went to high school together.
Okay, so now wait a minute. Look, this woman right here appears to be a little older, a little more mature, a little wiser. She doesn't have fucking lip filler. Like, the old dude should be dating her. Like, she's a little fugly, but she's not bad looking. She's not vomit inducing. This is an unfortunate pause.
Together. When Carrie first told me about Randy, I definitely was thinking, what is she doing with an older man? What is she benefiting from this? Is this going to be a fling? Is she going to get hurt? Is this even safe for her to do? Carol, how are you?
How are you?
It's been so long. Oh, my
know,
Lord.
It's been
So
so
thanks for
long.
coming. I'm
Oh,
glad
of
you
course. Thanks for
did.
having me.
So what concerns did you initially have about the relationship?
You guys dating? I'd say from your standpoint, I was like, what is she getting from this? Why is she doing this? Is it just a phase? I don't know. I didn't want you to get hurt, but I also didn't want you to be using someone. So
Oh, one of her best friends since childhood. We just saw photos of them as children together. Like, I didn't want you to be using someone. Well, I guess the whole title up there, I plan to milk him dry. I guess she's very capable of that kind of behavior.
really just worried about what your intention was, to be completely honest. You're not the type to settle down. So I was like, what is she doing?
It's called the long con, right? I mean, seriously, if someone gives you a BMW, I mean, you notice one thing we haven't heard? We haven't heard how vibrant their sex life is. We are now 6.5 minutes into an 18-minute video, and we haven't actually heard about their actual chemistry. We've heard about their companionship, but we haven't heard that the romance is passionate, right? We haven't heard that they provide comfort for one another. We heard stability, we heard security, but not comfort.
Well, what do you think about the age gap? Were you worried?
I was a little worried about, does this guy just want a showpiece? Is he just trying to find some young, hot girl
Yes.
who's vulnerable to
Yes.
take advantage of? Not
Yes.
even mentally,
Every guy
but
wants that.
sexually, to be
Yes,
completely
yes.
honest. Did you just want a little piece type of thing? Like, yeah.
Yes, and will you be mine? No, I'm just kidding.
But I mean, clearly you're a great guy. Again, make her extremely happy. So I see that this is something real. I truthfully
Extremely happy because she's turned on by wallets.
never thought she was going to find someone that treats her so well. And I am so
wow.
appreciative that
Those
you have
are
helped
some
her
unfortunate
mentally,
sausage fingers.
physically.
Oh, and she's got
Honestly,
tattoos.
everything under the
Never
sun
mind.
you've
I
given
take it
her.
back.
Her happiness now is truthfully, in my opinion, contributed to you and what you've done for her.
I really appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I see you
Beautiful.
honestly as like a brother-in-law. What makes you love Carrie? What gets you going with her?
Her big, giant knockers.
Or what do you see in her that satisfies you and what you need? Shut the fuck up. I mean, are you? I'm
Watch, he's
honestly
gonna
not
talk
being
about her
sexual,
look.
but I see that's what you're doing.
He might say she's
We
nice.
put in
He's
the
gonna talk
work
about her.
every day
Well, they didn't
to
show
make
it.
each other happy.
He
To
didn't
the
answer.
haters.
I like the attention, baby.
And
He
I
didn't
have it,
answer.
and she comes home with me every night.
So, do you see the thumbnail on the screen? Do you see the thumbnail here? Do you see it? Should we? Should we dive into that one? Should we dive into this one, huh? Let's do it. Here we go. So, real quick, final thoughts on the last couple, 30 and 65. And again, did not mention sex, did not mention passion, did not mention longevity. No. Did not mention actual love. No. Security, stability, right? Finances, the money and the tits. It's obvious what they saw in each other. Hopefully, you fellas out there in the audience know better when you're picking your partner. Now, look, if you're 63 years old and you're loaded and all you want is a piece of ass, fuck it. Fuck it. I mean, I have no problem with what the guy's doing. I mean, he obviously understands his own finances, knows what he can afford, and knows, what he's doing to some degree. I mean, you don't get that kind of money without at least having some degree of intelligence, right? But it's not love. And, it is what it is. If it's shallow, it's shallow. Be shallow if that's what you want. But don't fool yourselves. Don't fool yourself into thinking into thinking that some 30-year-old with big hooters actually cares about you as a person.
Is Alex.
So here we go. Meet Alex.
She fell in love with
Mitch. Oh, God. Just look at this guy and his soft eyes.
Alex.
Hang on.
She fell in love with.
Look at the softness of this guy. Whoa. Like he doesn't even have a chin. It's all neck.
Mitch. But Alex isn't just romantically involved with her husband.
I date other people whilst my husband's at home.
Did you see that?
Romantically involved with her husband.
I date other people whilst my husband's at home.
Now, look, I fundamentally, morally, I don't have a problem with this. I've spoken about polyamory before on this channel, and I'm not directly opposed to this. I think in current year, in 2023, I think there are definitely situations in which the idea of compatibility between two people can be an interesting topic. And so, for example, the previous video, right? Like I said, it doesn't sound like they have actual romance, actual passion. It appears to be a companionship based on money. And if you can make that work, but then get love from somewhere else, like actual genuine love from somebody, but maybe the companionship part or maybe the financial part isn't there. It is what it is. But this sounds like sounds like it's straight up cuckoldry. So let's see what this is here.
It would be way more upsetting for me to see her walking down the street holding hands with someone else rather than having sex with someone else.
Did y'all hear what this man just said? It would disturb me more to see her holding hands with somebody than to see her having sex with somebody. Lord help us.
But the couple's unconventional arrangements have brought them judgment online.
That ain't a husband. He wants to be a pimp. How about
Wants to be a pimp. Well, it depends. Is he getting money? Is he getting money for this?
wife? People have said that our relationship's just weird.
And whilst Alex frequently
I mean, it's okay, but again, this whole thing is love, don't judge. You're worried about the haters. Live your life. If it works, live your life. But this doesn't sound like it works. It sounds like if he says he's concerned about guys holding your hand walking down the street, like there's something going on here. Like this is deeper than what it appears.
dates other men, the same is not the case for Mitch.
The thought of Mitch dating another woman, no. So today I am looking at dresses for pictures for my dating profile, and I'm going to show my husband Mitch for some options. I think
She's picking out outfits for a new photo for her dating profile.
I'm
gonna have her husband's input.
going to take this one to Mitch to see what he thinks. We first met when we were 14 years old.
14. No fucking wonder. You're literally the only piece of ass he's ever had. I mean, look at this guy. He met her when he was 14. Do you think he's been in a different woman's panties? If you think this is the only woman who has ever touched this man's pee-pee, put a 1 in the chat.
He just stopped and gawked at me and he didn't know what to do.
It's true.
I think this is too much for a first date.
Might be a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, she's not awful looking. She's a little big, but
Went out for 2 weeks. You dumped me.
Yeah, it's true.
And then I didn't give up. And 7 years later, I got back together.
Very persistent. Yeah.
Me and Alex have been together for just over 10 years now.
As a
Well,
couple,
you're just
we
like
are
24,
massively
25?
judged because we don't do the traditional thing. You know, I date other people.
okay, here's what I find confusing. And look, it might be because she is a slightly bigger girl, but like the dresses she's wearing, they don't scream hoe bag, right? They're not, she's not dressing like a hoe. She's dressing sort of like an innocent girl, right? Girl next door type. It doesn't appear like she has a bunch of tattoos and piercings, and like she doesn't appear to be the wild bang a bunch of dudes kind of woman. So is this his fetish? Like, I'm still a little confused as to what's going on. Is this for her or for him?
Mitch is predominantly the one that's at home with the kids, which to some people that's really bizarre because it's usually the woman. Some people have said I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad wife. People
Hey,
have said
you're a
that
mom, you
our
have
relationship's
kids.
just weird. I think when I started OnlyFans, I faced such a big
OnlyFans.
wave of judgment
Okay,
that
I
it
take it
almost
back.
gave me
I take it back. I take it back. Okay, so yeah, she dresses different on the Instagram and OnlyFans and TikTok.
the confidence to just live
Oh,
my
yeah, look at
life
that.
as I want to. I said, you know, I'm thinking about opening up a dating.
And God, you notice the difference in weight on some of these old social media posts versus what she is now? I bet she just had the kid. And she's feeling tied down. And so then, like, to release her from her wifely obligation of, you know, sitting at home and cooking and cleaning and doing laundry for the kid all fucking day, like, no, go out and hoe around. I mean, I think that's what's going on here. I'm getting a little closer to diagnosing these people. Let's find out.
App. How do you feel about that? And then it wasn't even really a long conversation, really, was
No.
it? Because we've sort of had little bits of conversation here and there, and we've said it's not really a big deal.
I
to
think
us.
my main thing is just honesty.
Yeah.
Loads of people cheat, and I think the worst part about it is the dishonesty. I don't think people having sex with other people is actually that big of an issue, to be honest.
I'm sorry. That's an unfortunate pause. But anyway, the guy's not completely wrong. Like, we make a lot bigger deal about sex in our culture than it needs to be. But it is an important part, and it is an important part of a relationship. I mean, I don't think monogamy is necessary, but monogamy, there definitely has to be a security in your monogamy before, like, this is not security. This is something else. This guy's making excuses. So while I don't disagree with him that, you know, sex isn't the end all be all, like, this isn't security. This isn't confidence. This isn't, this is something different. Something different's going on here.
Even if I tried to lie to him about something,
Oh my God, he's setting up her
would know.
phone and
He
light
would
for
just
her
know. So
OnlyFans.
it's just best to always be open about this sort of thing. Okay, I'm ready. Today we are going to take some new photos for my dating profile.
I guess some people would think it'd be quite odd assisting her to do the pictures for her dating profile, but, you know, she's on OnlyFans, and if people want to see pictures of her, they've got the internet. So I don't really see that it's any different. I'd never want to meet any of the dates. I think that would just be a bit weird, to be honest.
I do have a
I don't want to meet him. That'd be a bit weird, to be honest. This is where I'm calling bullshit. This is obviously, there's something more fucked up here. Like, I'd want to meet him. I'd want to meet him because I want to know how scuzzy these people are, right? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Like, as much as it might break your fucking heart, wouldn't you at least want to know, like, yeah, is she going out with some like biker dude that's like smoking cigarettes and belching and, you know, might have fucking herpes? Like, what kind of guy is she going to bang tonight? Wouldn't you at least be curious? No, this guy's like, no, I want to know. That doesn't sound very secure to me.
Type.
I think Alex's type is kind of a bit geeky, more dad bod than gym bod, I would say.
I love geeky men.
Really? Really? Where are you located at? You anywhere near the Midwest? I'm just kidding.
That are good at maths. I don't know why. That's just my thing. He's really good at his times table.
Times
table's good.
Times table? Good at math at age 26? And you times table? Fuck, I know my times table. Shit.
It's in the mood, doesn't it?
And just like clever people. I do sometimes feel guilty about going on dates whilst Mitch is at home. I do feel bad, but I will.
Well, then what the fuck? Like, at least you could do. Look, if you got this kind of following online, like, you could find another OnlyFans chick to come service your dude while you're out servicing another guy, right? Like at least let the street be two-way. Like, if you're gonna have that arrangement, hopefully, oh my God, hopefully this video tells us whether or not he's allowed.
Text him and be like, "Are you okay? Is everything fine?"
I just enjoy the piece, to be honest. I can watch whatever I want on the TV.
Just watches football, don't
Yeah,
he?
basically just watch sport.
He loves
Play
it.
Football Manager in peace.
He loves
Yeah,
it.
it's great.
Dear God. As much as I like sports, gentlemen, if you have to escape into sports while your lady's out getting the train ran on her. Maybe sports aren't for you, buddy.
Living his best life.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just on the dating site, just
Oh,
having a
God.
little look.
Are you
Right.
With the dating, it's more of
folks, what do you think about like the barefoot feet on the back porch? The bare feet on the back porch. This is good. A pet peeve of mine. Like, no.
just fun. I can't catch feelings for these people. I can't fall in love with them because that's what our marriage is. That's our thing. We're in love with each other and that's our marriage. So
This is still, there's something else to this. I can't fall in love because I'm in love with you. Like, wait, you can't or you won't, or there's a boundary. Like, what happens if you do?
this is just fun. So I've made that very clear on my dating profile that it is just something casual. I'm not looking for a relationship or anything like that.
I think it would be way more upsetting for me to see her walking down the street holding hands with someone else rather than having sex with someone else. It's different for different people. I think some people have that need or desire to want to sleep with other people. I don't believe it's a human nature to just have one partner for your whole of your life. Having said that, it's not something that I'm particularly fussed about. And
Oh, having said that, it's not something I'm quite interested in. What?
It's not something that I desire at this moment in time.
The thought of Mitch dating another woman, no.
It's a no. Yep, here we go. Rules for thee, but not for me.
I mean, why would you? You got me.
Sure, yeah.
Why would you? You've got me. That it's implying that like I am everything and you're just shit. Like you're shit that I have to go find other shit to supplement your shit, but I'm everything. Look, there is a double standard here. And look, I will admit, I love the fucking double standard. To me, it's the other way around. Like if a man is a shit man, right? Like you got your shit together, like there's less variety in the good man, right? There are lots of different qualities of good women. There are lots of different aspects of beautiful women. I think women have such variety, such personality, such style, but for men to be smart, protector, financially stable, like to be a catch, like there's not a lot of variety in that. You just have those qualities. And here's the part of the problem with that is a lot of women won't even date a guy who doesn't have all of the qualities. So it's like once you find that guy, once you find that person, I think it's more likely that the man would need the variety more than the woman would, but she apparently has a very, very active libido. So we'll see.
Go out for a burger when you got steak at
We're
home.
about halfway through.
I do have a
I'm
sugar
gonna-
daddy.
we'll go long.
He has bought me designer bags. He has paid for holidays whenever I want a takeaway.
He's the
he
pay
pays for
pig.
it. So if I'm
We have
out,
another pay
I
pig,
will
ladies
text
and
my
gentlemen.
sugar daddy and he will pay for the date as well because he likes to pay for the dates.
The money side of it doesn't particularly bother me, to be honest. Our relationship is our relationship, and that's not going to change. If someone was prepared to pay for all that for me, I wouldn't turn it down.
We get so much judgment as a couple every day on social media.
Yes,
It's
yes,
like every
including
half
here.
an hour someone says something. That ain't a husband, he wants to be a pimp. Extreme friend zone.
He has a gay face. What does a gay face even look like?
Men these days
It looks
are a
like that,
disgrace.
man.
I think you just got to have the perspective that Twitter isn't the real world and that 99% of people just don't care what you get up to.
I think I'd much rather do something that is controversial to people than be these people typing out hate all day. Imagine that, spending your day being
It's a
really
really miserable
nasty to
existence,
people
to be honest.
online.
Okay. So again, that's what I'm doing right here, right? I'm hating on it. But again, I'm open-minded. I am very open-minded. Like even the last video, and this is where I'm gonna try to attack these things, is because I'm interested. I'm interested in hearing people say, look, we live our life like this. This works for us, and this is why it works for us. But here's the problem. Is in the last video and now in this video, I'm not hearing a why it works. I'm hearing just, it works. No, just trust us. It works. Don't be a hater. Just trust us. You see, when I experimented with these kinds of lifestyles, I really, I'm Mild, the Patriot Philosopher. That's my nickname. That's the nickname I've given myself on this channel. I have my Patriot Philosopher streams where I tried to, take a concept in reality and break it down in a theory. I like to theory craft why things work, why personalities are the way they are, why the world puts things into certain perspectives, right? And think about, well, why does this work? Why do relationships work like this? Why do humans feel these types of emotions? So when it was me, I really examined, why do I want this? Why do I feel like this? Why would this be good for a partner of mine? Why would this be good for me? And I wasn't doing it just to try to justify what I was doing. I did it because I was truly looking for the most effective, most unique experience I could experience as an adult human being with love and affection and all of these things. I wanted to experience these emotions. So the fact that we're not hearing this kind of shit coming out of their mouth, no, it's, yeah, I just bang guys and they give me money. Like, I'm not hearing what she's actually getting out of these experiences in her soul. We've got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left of this video. I want to hear why her soul wants to do this. Because she said she doesn't want to make connections with these men. She doesn't want other relationships. That it's just sex and money. So I want to know why her soul craves this. and why he's so passive about the fact that she has these cravings that he can't fulfill.
Like, that's really quite tragic, to be honest, isn't it?
I mean, we get a lot of trolling as a couple, but Alex also gets quite personal ones as well.
Even with her pimp's approval, I'd rather pick my nose than pick that beach
shit.
for a date.
Oh,
Wow.
fuck.
It's really annoying to see her get the level of sort of abuse she gets online.
So many people say to me, like, even other OnlyFans creators, that I don't know how you put up with this. I've never seen anyone get as much crap as you do. But yeah, I am a human being. Like, some days it is really hard, isn't it?
You show me like comments.
Okay, but you're a human being who does something unconventional. And look, I had this conversation with you remember me talking about my ADA appointed retard in my life, in my real life, who has harassed me, and if he's watching, cheers out there, brother. Again, I only wish the best for you. So he once had these same similar criticisms of me, and kind of mentioned it as, look, you live a fringe lifestyle. If you're gonna live a fringe lifestyle, you have to be ready that people are going to address you in a fringe manner. And while his breakdown and criticism of that, I didn't necessarily agree with, but I got what he was saying. Like, if you're going to be on the outskirts of what's considered the norm, then and so here's the difference. Like, I wasn't putting myself out there publicly at the time. But if you're going to put yourself out there publicly, you have to be able to grow a little bit of a thick skin and accept a little bit of criticism. And I think that's where we're going here, is like this idea. Really, I find the name of the YouTube channel, Love Don't Judge, here. I find it ironic because no, love doesn't judge, but society will. And society will beat you down if you're not exactly like society. And unfortunately, you could be Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and get all the media attention in the world, but you're still going to have haters, right? And these people, same thing. You put yourself out there in the world, just like myself. I'm putting myself out there in the world. You got to be prepared to outlast the haters.
And I look at the profile picture and it's like a really fat, bald, ugly old man. And you think, really? Like, people in glass houses should not be throwing stones.
I have never, ever in my life ever
glass
been
houses.
trolled
Who
by a
had glass
hot,
houses?
Successful, happy
Doesn't
person.
happen. But to be fair, there's also people making sensible points, like, why are people's preferences a thing for society to debate? Enough. Kind of a point.
Bosh.
I feel like we have a really strong relationship.
Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, it's really rare. Like, we've known each other for a very long time and we've been through so much. Oh! Like, obviously, he does my absolute head in sometimes, but I couldn't live without you. Like, I really couldn't. I couldn't go through life without him.
Hang on. I got to address something. You see this? See this? When you're crazy and he still stays around. Fair enough. I mean, to me, that's it right there. I mean, look, I will accept it. If you just want to admit that you're crazy, that you act out, and that he's too stable to deal with your eccentricities, that he's too vanilla, sure. Okay, that's good enough. That's a good enough excuse for me, but she still hasn't verbalized it.
I couldn't live without you. Like, I really couldn't. I couldn't go through life without him. I would say to the people who judge our relationship, thank you for giving us an insight to how miserable you are in yours.
I think just try and open
not
your mind
miserable.
a little bit and realise that
I'm not
everyone's the
miserable.
same,
We
that
love
different
train
people wanna
wreck.
live their life differently, and what makes one person happy or one couple happy isn't going to make everyone happy.
Yep, it's not for everybody, folks. It's not for everybody. And, even as much as it was for me at some point in time, even if it was for me at some point in time, not that configuration, but definitely the idea of monogamy was definitely not on my radar for a number of years. It's nothing I advise other people to do. It's hell. It's fucking hell. So, folks, it's that time again. we're going to wind down. I would like to ask everyone's participation in clicking that big thumbs up button underneath the video. Please like this video if you've enjoyed it. I could really use help in the algorithm. So yeah, click the follow or subscribe button, depending on what platform you are on. Share this on other platforms if you would. Also, show back up 6 p.m. Central this Wednesday for the next episode of Mild's Culture Plate. Once again, just a quick reminder, I am not going to be same time, same channel next Saturday. I'm going to probably be moving the Saturday show over to Sunday afternoon, early afternoon, so like 12:30. Keep an eye out on my social media. See above my head here, my social media over on X and on Facebook. The links are down in the description of the channel. You can just click right there, go over there, follow me on those platforms, and you will find out the next time Mild's Culture Plate will be going live, about an hour or two before I go live. If I need to postpone it, I will announce it there. So please follow me on those social media accounts you see above my head. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, follow me on social media, and you folks, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, take care of your animals. Again, Cookie, prayers go out for your cat. Cheers to everybody out there who showed up today. It's always fun when I have an audience, man. It's great. It's great. I always appreciate you being here. So please show up Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central, right here on www.rumble.com/mild/live. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do get some on you, rub that shit in real good. Catch you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. Thanks, everybody. Peace.